PJ, hey man, how you doing? It's been a long time since I saw you, man. How's life? You good? Give me 2 seconds. Let me just kind of start the stream. All right, blah blah blah. Roadmap. It's my stuff. Kirill, my friend. Ah, so happy you're here, man. How is life? How is life, my dude? Thank you for coming, man, as always. I really, really like when you're here. Give me 1 second, let me just hide that. Yeah, I actually streamed today already. And then we had some guests now and stuff, and then I realized, okay, you know what? My wife went to bed, and my kids are also asleep. And I was thinking, should I watch some Netflix or read a book or write some article or maybe just stream a little, and then I obviously decided the latter, and yeah, that's why we're here. I mean, yeah, life is complex, right? Life is complex, and it requires. Life is beautiful and complex and terrible and amazing and hard and easy, right? It all boils down to how you develop yourself and how your perception is about it, right? So there's many ways you can think about life. For example, I'm sure that there are many people on this planet that have a way better life than you, but also way worse life than you, right? So, and of course, while these facts are not going to make your life better or worse, they at least give you some context to not feel that you're alone in either good or bad, right? Life is not a linear line, it's not a straight line, it's a line of ups and downs, and that's why it's fun. If it was all just straight line, then we would have other issues. We would just not be maybe incentivized to do anything, hence we would still be Neanderthals, right, living in the caves, because we probably wouldn't really have a desire to move anywhere. So everything passes, man, you know, just you know, like create a perception, you know, of you know, I mean, again, I'm not saying that some of these things will make your life suddenly better, like financially or in any other way, but just know that there's billions of people right now don't having food at all on their table. And look at yourself, you're here watching a stream, watching a random guy writing some code, right? So you see how you could say maybe from their perspective how fortunate you might be. I tell you that literally several billion people today would kill to be where you and I are, and I'm sure there are many people who are better in the better spot than you and I are as well, right? So it's all about how you think about it. So that's why it's important to train yourself. Of course, man, my pleasure. Just started my education in cybersecurity in Copenhagen. What you recommend to get into? Will, hey there. I actually live in Copenhagen as well, so that's great. Just started my education in cybersecurity. So just note that cybersecurity typically, I mean, this is not maybe gonna sound super fun, but your job is mostly gonna be, of course, some of it is gonna be about cybersecurity, but a lot of it is gonna be a mixture of working with like HR and law team on certain things such as SOC 2, GDPR, compliance, answering questions to security questions to customers and stuff. So just know that cybersecurity in theory and in the movies and in the courses is about you hacking Pentagon or whatever, and then but in reality the job is a lot more administrative than you know. So to be very frank with you, I don't know what you should focus on exactly. You know, your cybersecurity job will be a lot about checking certain checkboxes. Like, so if we're talking about web services, that means, okay, setting security audits and repositories, ensuring secrets and environmental variables are not exposed, ensuring that, for example, if you're using GCP, that Cloud Armor is enabled, and then kind of basic things is security related, cross-origin resource sharing, rate limiting, so a bunch of these things. But you know, cybersecurity is a lot more fun in theory and in the movies than it is on the actual job. Just note that. So if you're expecting that you're going to be, you know, opening green terminals like in video, in like movies and hacking something, no, not really. PJ boy, I mean, the thing is, man, I don't know you, but I do know you, right? I'm 37 years old, and I mean, I also, like most people of any age, I guess, also, so we all go through these troubles in life. So that's why I'm saying you're not alone, man. The way that you feel is completely fine, and there you go. The way that you feel, man, is completely fine, and it's very important that you speak about it anywhere where you feel comfortable. So, you know, a lot of people feel like that, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. We're humans, and you know, we get oftentimes in bad places, then we get ourselves out of bad places, and then we think, oh man, that was so silly. I don't even know why I was stressing about that, right? So you will see probably these reasons you have now, you will probably laugh about them very soon, right? So sometimes life seems like it's like, man, will I pull myself out of this? But of course you will, man. Like, I mean, it's yeah, of course, dude. Exactly. So, you know, just reflect, and one thing that can help you is to write a diary or something like that, you know, and you know, so you know, and of course use every opportunity to learn, man. One thing that I've learned throughout all these years working is that a lot of people quit when things are tough, and that's the time when you remove the massive opportunity to learn and become better, right? So, you know the saying, you know the quote, it says the smooth seas do not make a sailor, right? So if you had a boat that's just standing in a swimming pool, you would always suck as a sailor, because that's not where you become good. You become good when the seas are and tides are high, and when there's hurricanes and shit like that, right? So it's the same with relationships, it's the same with life, is you toughen up and you learn when things are hard. Rarely when things are easy, right? Yeah, so this is kinda, this is my take, and I think it's a reasonable take on it. But yeah, just note, all people have something they're going through. You know, I might appear like sometimes in this stream, like, look at this philosopher, he has it all figured out. But, you know, I have 2 kids and a wife, and I'm the only parent working. And, you know, so we all have some levels of stress that we have to maintain, and we maintain by just reflecting and trying to build up several different perspectives. Because if you have only one perspective and if you only look at life in one way, right, then that's a very dangerous place to be, right? Ravaz, my friend, good evening, good to see you, dude. Thank you very much. I just started the stream a couple of minutes ago, so just starting it slowly, with a bit of yes, just chatter, and then now we're gonna code. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, programming is a job like any other, right? So don't kind of overthink it. I think it doesn't matter how many languages you know. I think it's far more important to try to package yourself as a more complete professional, right? You can know 17 different languages and still not have a job, for example, because you maybe suck at social aspect of it. You're not good at selling yourself. You're not good at talking about yourself, right? So being a professional in any domain doesn't mean knowing the profession per se. It means knowing the domain of that profession, of course, but also putting in the time and effort into shaping yourself as an individual, right? Because when you go into an interview, first thing people see is you yourself, not how many programming languages you know, right? So when you get a job, you're getting a job because somebody liked you, hopefully, as a package, right? Not just, you know, as it's like when you buy the shoes, right? When you buy the shoes, you don't buy them because you just like the shoe laces on them, right? Or because you only like the color. You typically buy the shoes because you like the shape, the size, the color, the material, whatever. So you buy the whole package, right? So it's the same with being professional. You don't just hire someone because they're comfortable. Exactly. But you get the point. Exactly. So it's the same when somebody hires you. Nobody is going to just hire you because you know a programming language. I mean, every programmer knows programming language. So if that was the only differentiator, then it would be very easy to hire. But when you go into an interview, you have to talk, you have to be articulate, you have to be a good listener, you have to ask good questions, etc., etc. And yeah, so that's a package. That's how you package yourself as a person. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's kind of now get ourselves a bit into coding for this stream. Okay, so let's kind of start somewhere. So first and foremost, let me check one thing. So we kind of got very far with meetups. We released it. It works. There's notifications. So very good progress there. I would say let's just kind of slowly start rounding this crap up. Let me actually do one thing. So I'm gonna go to my faker and I'm gonna tell AI to let's also generate some meetup events in the past. So I'm missing some dummy data for the events because I want to be able to just see like how. So when you click on a meetup, we have the events here. Right now, my faker has created only meetups with the future date. So now I'm just telling it, hey, make some with the past date as well, so we can test these states without needing to. Alex, I'm almost about to finish my actual first big project. Other projects was just back office apps, and I'm not sure which bundler to use before publishing. Used Next.js as a framework. When you say bundler, can you elaborate a little bit more, Ravaz? Because Next.js is a server-side thing. So I mean, there's no bundler. You just deploy that to a server and that's it, right? So is that maybe what you're describing? Are you saying that you're unsure about which hosting to use or something like that, or do you maybe want to deploy that as a system-level app, something like Electron or something like that? If you can just elaborate more, I'm happy to help. Wow, okay. Actually thought that I copied that, but I didn't. Okay, so everything's working. Let's actually now go. That's okay, interesting. Okay. Alright, so we've regenerated these things, and let's see. September, which month is it? September, October, November. Okay, so we did generate some events in the past, and here they are. Actually, they all have a meetup picture, so that's fine. But this is November. It's not working. I'm sorry, what is not working? Actually, let me just go here and pin this thing. Website. Oops, website. Let me just pin it. I always forget to do this. Alright, cool. So let's get back here. So this is a previous event. I just need to make sure, yeah, that you can't really attend or anything. So you can't. It looks like this. Let's see here. Event questions, comments, polymorphic. I think I've done that. We have the discussion thing. And I think one potential useful thing for the meetup would be organize like speakers. So that's kind of the table that I wanted to create. So basically I can also have some sort of an invite-based thing where I could invite speakers by email or whatever. No, Ravaz, there's no such thing as bundlers. A bundler in the context of a web app would be, you know, Vite in a way, or Webpack, or Grunt, Gulp, or any of these things. But there's no such thing as securing packages in that way. I think you're probably referring to something that you already have, which is whatever Next.js uses, right? But no, there's no such thing as... so I think you already have what you're seeking for. That's the tooling. That tooling already comes with that. Okay, just bear with me, fellas. I need to take a look at this. So event details. Okay, let me kind of do discussion, and I guess that's... Is that it? No. Discussion. Okay. No, that is actually correct. So why is that not updated? Okay, it is updated. Okay, sure. Discussions. I think the best way, PJ, to do is for you. I think you are a little bit maybe. I think you might. I think maybe you're kind of maybe getting ahead of yourself a little bit. I think that it's very difficult to learn things in an abstract, holistic way. I mean, the only way you can learn programming, like all of us, is to build things. It's very difficult to read about, let's say, components, right? It's going to be very, very unfulfilling if you take a path that's not practical, right? Because patterns, you can certainly sit and read some patterns book, right? but it is very, very difficult for anyone, not just for you, for seniors, juniors, whatever. It is very difficult to comprehend these things. So let me give you an example. If I go to patterns.dev now, right, and we go read online, this resource is maintained by Adi Osmani. He's an engineer at Google. So imagine I told you, hey, come here and learn patterns, and these are language agnostic patterns, right? So these things apply in every language. And then you start to say, okay, I'm going to learn today about factory pattern, right? And you can in fact memorize some of this crap or whatever, but that is very, very meaningless in a way, because you will learn this pattern, maybe you might even memorize for a couple of days or weeks what it is, but unless you apply these patterns to a specific problem, then it's going to be very difficult for you to not forget this, right? So that's why when you're junior so it's very difficult for junior developers today, because you don't have an opportunity to fail and then to be led implicitly to these patterns, because these patterns are something that the junior developer might even invent themselves while learning without even knowing that. So these patterns are things that over time, as we wrote code, we invented them because we found the pattern. That's why it's called a pattern, because we saw that it's repeating in a way, right? So learning programming this way is impossible, right? Because you have to fail and then you have to ask. So when the most learning happens is when you fail, you realize that you failed, and you ask a question, okay, how does one solve this? Think about it this way. Let me give you a stupid example. Imagine that you tried to drill a wall using a knife or a fork, and you pushed that fork, you pushed it through the wall, and maybe you even digged a little hole through the wall, right? But you realize that just doesn't work. It's very hard to drill a hole using a fork. And then you ask a question, man, how do people, there must be a better way. I saw so many holes in the walls my whole life. In my friends' apartments, I saw the pictures on their walls. How do other people do it? And then they tell you, oh, you know what, PJ Boy, there's a drill. There's a drill, and on that drill, there's a little metal piece. Well, actually, that's called a drill. So you get what I mean. So or a hammer or whatever. So it's the same with these patterns. As you start building and as you start seeing things, that is when you go back and you learn these things, not the other way around. And the analogy would be exactly the same. Imagine you wake up one day and you say, today I'm going to learn how to use a jigsaw, right? That is also meaningless. Why would you learn to use a jigsaw? I mean, that is super random. So that is as random as waking up and saying, I'm going to learn an observer pattern today, right? So basically, that is the path, right? Why is it not working? I don't know what is not working for you. Stream? Are you saying that the stream is not working? I don't know, man. I think you're the only one. Flush DNS. Try watching on YouTube as well. I don't know if that's gonna help you, but I think if you go to YouTube, yeah, try watching there. I don't know. Maybe that's. I read an article. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean, it's good to read articles. By no means read them, but again, that yields no results, right? Reading articles can inspire you, can give you some ideas, etc., but it's not gonna make you do that. You can read whatever you want, right? Scientists at NASA, most of them are also senior engineers, and they've been doing certain things for many years, right? So and then they aggregated their experience. So again, it's cool. Just read the books. I'm not saying don't read the books and stuff, but without building things, without getting your hands dirty, it's gonna be very tough, right? Because, you know, if you want to become a tennis player, you can watch Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Federer play all day long, but you will not become a tennis player. You will maybe know some theory about tennis, but unless you take that racket and hit that ball, you will just be an observer, right? So there's absolutely zero difference with programming. It's exactly the same thing, right? Everything is a system, right? So even if it's your own system that nobody else can understand, which I would not advise for, of course, at least it's your own system. So you're absolutely right. Everything has to be a system, right? I'm absolutely with you. Yeah, man. Of course, it's my pleasure. It's I used to teach at the bootcamp for 5.5 years, so I had over 160 students over these years. So I had a lot of time to figure out how people think and how they perceive information. So yeah, I used to work at Thinkful for 5.5 years as a mentor. So. EST, it is. It absolutely is. I think your comment is completely reasonable, but you're making an assumption that all humans are reasonable, right? I mean, every single human that comes to this stream and every single human that I see on YouTube comments and stuff, everybody is constantly searching for a silver bullet to success, right? And today, in fact, in theory, it has actually and also in practice. It has never been easier to learn anything. But one thing that people underestimate is that as the technology gets smarter and more convenient, an average human becomes either dumber or lazier. So the irony of it is really the human. So variability on the side of technology is never in question. Technology always grows, right? So you have technology that is fascinating and it always moves forward. Like, for example, today, let me give you an example. 4 or 5 years ago, I would mentor people for 200 euros, 250 euros an hour. Today, I cannot make a single cent because you open Gemini today or ChatGPT and you have your own mentor, right? Fascinating, absolutely insane, right? So let me just, and then here's a average human, right? No, it doesn't suck. I think that's great. I'm happy for humanity. I mean, I make money in other way. It doesn't really matter. So as this is unfortunate truth, and I've seen this and I see this every day. As this guy here goes up in whatever it is. Today you have AI, which is absolutely, it's a miracle. It's fascinating. You have an average human that simply goes the other way. It goes down. And this always has been the problem. So no matter the fascinating advancements in technology, this guy is just going to get more lazy, more procrastinating, more complaining, and stuff like that. Because theoretically today, you literally don't need anything other than, let's say, Gemini or ChatGPT to learn nearly anything. Like, you can go to Gemini, here. How do I close this? So you can go to Gemini, say guided learning. This resource many years ago would have costed literally thousands of euros. Now it costs nothing. And here you can say, I want to learn X. You prompt it a little bit about yourself, and you have a mentor for the entire journey of anything, right? But of course, you have an average human that, no matter against technological advancement, is right. So if you say here, I am a, I don't know, Golang developer, and I want to learn, let's say, JavaScript, teach me JS with one-to-one feature comparison in 6 hours, for example, right? Let's imagine just this. You do this, and now you have a mentor that not unlike before where you buy a book or a video, then you can't ask the question back. Here you can just go back and forth until, no matter who you are, no matter how your brain works, you can get any answer in any shape or form that fits your own mind, right? But again, you have to put in the effort, you have to put in the discipline, you have to put in continuity, grit, etc., right? So, and this is what many people don't have. So the knowledge is not an issue anymore. You have infinite knowledge. Every human today that has internet has infinite knowledge in their hand. You just need to, just emphasis on under quotes, just, but you still, no matter what, you still have to sit and spend hundreds, thousands of hours until you learn it, and that is the challenge. And due to massive amount of content, YouTube shorts and all of these crappy platforms, you're simply cognitively exhausted daily because you consume memes, shitty crappy cat videos or porn or whatever, and then when you're supposed to do this, you're just cognitively completely exhausted because your dopamine has already been exhausted from your mind, right? Exactly, EST. Exactly. So either way, as I said here, I think this is a perfect explanation of, because I always have been bothered, like, how come that the technology progresses so much and then an average human just gets lazier? And that is true. More of these smart things, less of a smart is a human, because you delegate more and more stuff to others while focusing on crappy social platforms and all the other bullshit that exists, right? Kirill is technically right. Kirill is saying, well, Alex, what if some of this information is incorrect? I mean, I think Kirill, the problem is that you're maybe observing that as someone who has already learned to code, right? It actually doesn't even matter if some of the information is hallucinating or wrong. If 80% of information is correct, that's still a miracle, right? You don't, when you're a beginner, when you start learning something, you don't actually care if everything is correct, because you will fail anyway. If you're a professional, you also don't, because, like, for example, if you and I would use this method to learn, it also doesn't matter, because you and I will go and validate that assumption anyway. So regardless of if you're a complete beginner or complete professional or an expert, it actually has very little flaws, because it doesn't have to be correct. I mean, even the documentation that you read, the deterministic one, is sometimes wrong. Even Stack Overflow is sometimes wrong. You get my point. So there was never a resource in history of programming that was objectively always 100% correct. So maybe you could say that could even be better if it's sometimes wrong, because technically that would make person go and research and validate that assumption elsewhere. So PonStakeQ, good evening, buddy. Hi to you as well. I think the worry is fine, and I think being aware that AI is not a silver bullet and it is not perfect is, of course, very good thing to keep in mind. So any rational human being should understand that this is still a text matchmaking algorithm, right? But, you know, again, there is rarely a resource on the internet, even often official documentation of certain languages, that sometimes isn't actually wrong about something, right? So that doesn't exclude this at all, right? Yeah, I mean, but again, seeking for, again, I've seen this and throughout this stream when I was actively streaming, no matter the content, no matter the stuff, the content is never the problem. Typically, the human is the problem. Just simply the lack of continuity, the lack of grit, the lack of commitment, that is always the problem. And this is why people keep asking, keep seeking for perfect course, perfect mentor, perfect book, right? while simply lacking the understanding that their issue is goes way beyond that, right? I learned programming when I was 20 something years ago, when I was 10 years old or 8, and I had one book. It was PHP 3, and in my elementary school we wrote Pascal at 8th grade elementary school. And as a kid, I read that book up and down a million times, and that was sufficient, and it still is sufficient, right? And the only reason why I learned it, and that is the biggest irony, back then, this was 2000 something, 2000 maybe even. You have, if you were lucky, some of your relatives bought you a book somewhere on some book fair, and you would sleep with that book, right? So the irony was that the lack of information was in fact not cognitively overloading people, so you had to focus on the resource you had. Today, you can go to YouTube and switch 600 videos in 60 minutes, right? Because there's infinite amount of content, so that's simply problematic, right? So yeah, that is just how it is. You can just switch between contexts so much that Carol, man, thank you very much, dude. Take care as well, my dude. Okay, so let's now start kind of polishing some of this stuff. I'm a little bit tired, so let's just clean up some of this stuff using AI. So yeah, let's clean up some of this stuff. We have this little simple to-do list. These are very tiny things, and then we're gonna do some back-end work, more specifically, probably more about notifications and stuff like that. So let's actually see how that goes. Give me 1 second. All right, cool. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Is that really correct? Nah, not really, right? Let's actually print that. It's an Axios error. Sure, that has... Okay, so we need to actually fix this in the backend. Config data message event not found. Okay, I see, okay. And what it is that... I see. Messaging, okay. I mean, what we could do, we go to meetups.router. We go to events, blah, 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 events slug. So it's this bad boy here. Meetup not found, event not. So what we could in theory do this here, we could either throw this or just respond with 404, right? And then maybe technically that would work. So we could say, let's give it a shot. We could say return. What do we have? Is this, okay. Yeah, I mean, okay. No, I mean, I think that's, yeah, I mean, semantically it would be more correct if, yeah, I mean, sure. We can kind of handle that in the UI. It's fine, but yeah. Okay, so no, screw you, AI. That's not correct. And I hate that I have to cast this crap. Yeah, not super keen on this, honestly, but it's fine. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's make it work and then improve it, because matching strings like this is a very bad practice, very bad practice, and it's a bad practice because yeah, I mean, if I go one day and update the string, well, the error handling breaks, right? So that's absolutely terrible. So that's not a good thing. But anyway, let's take a look. Something went wrong. Set error. There was an error. Okay. Let's print it again. Return null. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Agreed. We'll do that in a second. Let's just first fix this so it kind of works end to end, and then we'll do. I have a system for that actually. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is kind of what we want to see if you go to an event, right? Now, one of the solutions, as JV said, is we could return lucky good evening. So one thing we could do, in fact, is return for null, and then of course handle that in the router, right? So we can actually say if there's no event, return null. We need to update the type, right? Yes. And then over here we need to say, you know, if no event. Yeah, exactly, right? So we can do this. Lucky, thank you very much for the follow, man. It's very kind of you. Okay, great. You remind me of someone. Ah, who? I hopefully of someone good, man. Hopefully of not some asshole. I mean, it's okay if it's an asshole as well, but I hope not, dude. Okay, now in theory, this should work UI related as it was before, right? Nah, okay, that's interesting. So, okay, let's take a look at this then. So we try this again. And meetup not found, fine. Oh, wow. Oh, shit, man, my bad. Oops. No, I think our logic is fine. But we actually have this alter and force that kind of regenerates all of my data. All of my kind of faker data. So let's go to some event again. Let's try to misdo it. And then, as we can see, event not found. Sorry, we couldn't find. Back to meetups. I mean, technically it would be better if we go back to the actual meetup that you were part of. So let's kind of do that UX type of thing again. You have my LinkedIn here, but I've been programming for many years professionally. Ah, fuck. LinkedIn, don't I have like a LinkedIn or something? Sorry, yeah, there you have it. I mean, the events that finish, they remain here, just finished. They're not removed or anything like that. Is that, if that's what you mean, they remain as under the meetup page as events, and you know, you can go and see who participated, if there were ever any notes, what was the agenda. So it's kind of, yeah. So when the event finishes, it's finished. You can't enroll into it or any stuff like that, right? Okay, but anyway, that is good, right? Let me actually see what I've done so far with it. So we kind of did this, which is fine, I think. And actually, give me 2 seconds. So if we go here and here, we do this. there's almost like a glitch. I mean, again, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist here, and that is fine because it's a new feature we're finalizing. So let's take a look at that overview tab. Event not found. Yeah, so this is kind of where it happens, right? I suppose. Yeah, sure. So when do we actually ask this question? So we first try to see if it's loading. So you can see there is a little glitch, right? So the question here now becomes, should we first ask for the error so we don't get that skeleton, right? Because yeah, I mean, the order in this context is not going to matter, because here we probably want to do I actually care? I don't know. It's just you can kind of see. I don't know if you can see it in the. Yeah, you can see it on the stream for sure. There is a little glitch, right? So if it's loading. If there's no meetup. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the thing is, when you obviously refresh the page, something's loading. And then when it stops loading, it either resolves something correct, like event, or it's an error. So there is nothing necessarily wrong here per se. It's just, I mean, it is correct. Now, the main thing here becomes, like, is the skeleton even needed, considering that this resource loads in, like, around 40 milliseconds, right? But this is not a bug or a glitch. It is, in fact, expected behavior, because we start loading something, and then for the duration of loading, which is very little, we show the skeleton, and then it fails, and then we show 404. So I think... that is maybe so I think this order here is actually very correct. There is nothing wrong with it. It's just yeah, now it becomes more of a UX UI issue. Is then the skeleton even necessary? And of course it is if the server would slow down. So, but I think this is almost impossible to see unless, I mean, we see this little kind of almost like a glitch because we are staring at it. No, that's not gonna make any difference. That's not going to make any difference because there's no difference. Even if we move them, it's still going to be the same behavior because the loading state is going to be true before this is true anyway. So it actually doesn't matter if we move this here. It's the functionality will remain the same, as you can see, right? I host my own infrastructure here at home. That's my data center there. So you can see that little rack. So you can kind of I documented most of the stuff there, so you can check it out. Is there an async call? I mean, of course there's a async call. When we refresh this, we are fetching the event, right? So that's what we're fixing. So we're fetching the event, and we either fetch the event or we get 404, right? But while we are resolving that, things are loading, right? So, and then once they load, it's either, hey, this event is correct. So basically, if it loads, it's gonna load this. But if I go to something that doesn't exist, it's gonna load a 404, right? So that is the expected behavior. It's just a kind of, the question in this context is really the skeleton even needed? Because you would want to I mean, like every tool out there, skeleton is a tool, and you don't have to have it everywhere. So you have to make a decision based on a certain feature that you have, right? Right. You can read everything in that guide. I explained pretty much everything. So it's more like, hey, is this even necessary? Okay, cool. I mean, these are very tiny things, and that's great. Should we? And let's just double check the meetup as well. Wow. Okay. What? Meetup not found. Okay. I mean, that is correct. It's just these. Yeah, these toasters kind of suck ass. I don't want to have this. This is so annoying, man. I don't know why I've done this crap. Yeah, screw that. Nah, that is very, very useless, to be very frank with you. Yeah, I've added all the... So all of my hardware is there. Also the router, like mini PC I wrote, and you can also find the Excel sheet with all the expenses for this project. So this project overall costed me around $2,300. There's 3 mini PCs, 4 Raspberry Pis, but everything is here basically. So this is actually not fully updated, but you can also see if you go to if you go actually a little bit down, you can also find my enterprise. So I made my own router with a network adapter that I bought, and then I have this PCIe card that I plugged it in. So everything is explained, but there's a lot of stuff missing. I mean, there's I run, this is my Kubernetes cluster K3s, so there's Velero and Longhorn and PG native operator, Metal LB, traffic reverse proxy. There's a bunch of things there, and some of it I wrote down, some of it is in my head still. I just need to find the time to... Yeah, I will be up. There's a lot of stuff that I already have written. I just haven't merged it yet. But for sure, man, definitely. And I'm not going to be updating it for others. I just actually exposed it. I just use that for myself because this is a very, very complex setup. From the layer 2 of network all the way up to UI and APIs. So there's a lot of stuff. It's impossible for one person to memorize. So unless you document it, you will fail miserably, because it's hard, because it's a job that 10 people would do in general, right? So it's in case you don't do some infrastructure as code or document all the firewall rules, your network, your VLANs, I mean, this network here is using the cloud router MikroTik switch. So as you can actually see, if you go here, if you go under MikroTik and VLAN schema, so there's this is very complex, and this is basically an aggregate of my entire career past 20 years, going from, because I started my career in 2008 as a Cisco and MikroTik engineer. So this whole thing is you could say that's why it's called a mini data center. Of course, that's a name I invented, but this is a little mini replication of what you have to do to have a mini data center, from hardware and electricity and a rack and fans and like all of the things, all the way up to layer 7 of application and stuff like that, right? So it's how many code languages? I don't know, man. I wrote many languages over the years. There's no significance in counting them. That depends on the... I mean, any senior engineer is a polyglot programmer, right? So if I have to learn a new language for a new job, I would sit for a couple of days and learn it. So, right? So I don't actually think about it that way. Like there's no significance in knowing 2 or 15 languages. There's no value in that at all, actually. No, fuck that. It doesn't matter. Fuck titles. Titles are meaningless. I mean, again, as I always say, the only product of your skills is things you build and things you can show for. So, titles mean nothing if you have nothing to show for, right? So, you can proclaim yourself as a god, but that doesn't mean that others will see you like that. So, fundamentally... Yeah, of course. I mean, I've been working for a long time, for sure, but I find nothing impressive about it. It's just a matter of coincidence and stuff. You will get there as well, PJ. it's just a matter of time. Some people start earlier. I'm sure that there's people that I can say the same for. There are these guys who started in the 80s. So I can say, oh, you bastards started 20 years before me, right? So there's always someone that you can look up to and say, oh, you know. Oh, thank you very much, man. Yeah, it's the thing is, note whenever you see things like this cluster, or whenever you see anything like, let me just give me a second. So whenever you see things like this, right, know that this is a product of time, right? So you don't just sit and build all this. It's very rare because you don't have to, right? So you can see there's 3 mini PCs, there's 4 Raspberry Pis, as you saw there. You don't need that, right? I mean, you can almost gain the same experience. For example, let me show you. If you, for instance, I mean, hardware is a very thing. It's a thing that you can make many different choices. But for example, if you don't want to spend money that I've spent, you could literally start with these 2 things. And then with an old 20 years old laptop. So if you have an old laptop, or go to some used market and get 2 laptops for like 10 euros each, remove the screen from them, disable screen in BIOS, use them as just 2 devices on your table, get some router, some small switch. For 50 euros, you can have this setup, expose it to the internet, play with it, right? So this stuff that I have, that you can see on the camera, right, is more or less that, just a lot fancier and a lot better, right? So these are, you could say like a mid-level, you could even say enterprise grade switch. The router is a PC, so it can handle a lot, but you don't have to start there. You don't need 4 Raspberry Pis. You can have 1 or none, right? So, so you know. I mean, I agree to some degree with you, 100 programmer. Yeah, I think going as far. I mean, I also do digital electronics and stuff like that, right? Let me actually show you. I also play with the hardware and cables and stuff like that, right? So that is my workbench, as you can see. This is kind of where I do my digital electronics and stuff. And that is my oscilloscope, this is kind of my equipment. There's some alcohol there and stuff. And this is kind of where I typically do hardware work, right? Playing with PCBs. And then you can see I have a little microscope here, which is awesome. So this microscope is like a 4K microscope. It's so nice when soldering and doing stuff like that. It's absolutely amazing. I don't think it was expensive. I think I paid a few €100, but it's a top-notch thing. Anyway, that's kind of it as well. You must have an IT background. No, I mean, not really. Not really. You don't have to have any IT background, no. IT is, no, not really. I wouldn't even say that. You just need to have curiosity and courage, and like if you want to start into like, if you have to want to start into some, let's say, soldering or hardware, the digital electronics, you just need to get a basic book, learn a little bit of physics, you know, learn about learn a few rules and equations. You know how do you calculate the wattage, the power, right? So these are very simple things. You can get this very fast. You get some LEDs, some PCBs, you try to deassemble things, you kind of practice soldering. Soldering is a thing that you just practice. You just gather a few components, you get a soldering machine, some iron and stuff, right? So no, you don't really need to have formal education. Ah, I see. Yeah, true. Very true. Very true. Yes. But I mean, you know, you build your own cave like I did with mine here, and I can do a lot of things, and you know, you don't have to do them to become a professional. I am not by no means stating that I'm an expert in all of these things, but that's also not the point. I mean, I think it's a very nice thing. It gives you a lot of confidence, a lot of great feeling when you know how things work, from the very cable and electrons and stuff all the way up to making buttons hoverable, right? So I mean, hardware, man, is so fun. It's crazy. It's absolutely incredible. Wow. Okay, this is weird. Like, I would expect this to actually work. Does it not? But you know, without this, what I'm doing now, it's all meaningless, right? And that is the beautiful part of engineering. You can never underestimate any of the layers of the stack, right? You can have perfect backend, perfect electricity, perfect voltage, perfect router, perfect APIs, but if you don't have the button for the user to click on, if you don't have a product, it's all for nothing. And it goes all the other way. You can have the perfect UI, perfect everything, but if you don't have the infrastructure, then you're fucked, right? So fundamentally, that is the fascinating thing about technology, right? Is that you need all of it. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to do this UI work, then I mean, generally, end to end, you can't build anything useful, really, very rarely. So, and it goes the other way. If you can only build a UI, but not the rest of the infrastructure, also useless. So it all fits together, and one without the other is meaningless. Why is this crap, man, not working? I think there's something else wrong. There's maybe I mean, the thing is, so when I was very young, right, and this is kind of something that I truly want people to convey and understand, like, programming is really a fascinating thing, right? It's almost like, imagine that you grew up with your grandfather in a carpeting wood shop or something like that. I mean, I think you have to embrace programming as capability that makes you get by building something, right? So like, you don't really practice programming. That is the thing, right? You build things, and then you build it by programming. So I think if you can shift your mindset from, oh, I have to sit and practice programming, to, oh man, I want to build this, you're gonna have vastly different results. You don't want to be doing programming. That's not what you're doing. You're building something, and programming is like, if you're playing tennis, you're playing the game and enjoying it. Of course, the fact that you're hitting the ball and you know, checking your knees and running back and forth is the process of playing tennis. But when you go to a tennis court, you're not explaining like, I'm I'm gonna go now and sprint left and right, back and forth, and I'm gonna hit the ball. No, you say I'm gonna play tennis, right? So programming should be something that you think less about, and building things should be something you should be thinking more about, right? And that way you can you know, get better at it. I'm just gonna actually try one random thing. No, that's not what I wanted. Where it's almost like there's like a height constraint or something somewhere here. I just need to double check. Yeah, there is some sort of a... Yeah, exactly, JV. That is pretty much it, yes. So next time, you know, you want to do something, that's very nice, man. But try to genuinely, this is of course now very theoretical, right? But try to genuinely think about what I said, right? Because this is where you want to get yourself to, and then walk backwards to figuring out the concept. So instead of saying I'm gonna go home now and learn about double pointers or weak pointers in C++, or you know, memory allocation, you say I want to build this, and then some concepts you already know. So maybe you already know how to write a function or an if statement, but you don't know something else, and then the problem is going to lead you there. It's the same. You would do exactly the same if you said I'm going to go and build a little wood house on the tree. You wouldn't go and assume which tools you need in a store and then buy all of them. You would say, fuck, what do I need to build a, you know, the right, and then you would miss some tools. You would build piece of it, and you're like, shit, man, I also need a glue, and then you would go to a Walmart or whatever and buy. So you see, it's the same with programming. You don't just wake up and buy hammer and 2 kilos of nails for no reason, right? C++ is annoying. I mean, that is maybe true, but I don't think it matters in this discussion at all. Which language someone is. C++ is a vastly used language still. It's running in airplanes, it's running in machinery, it's running in it's powering nodejs, it's running in your browser. So sure, is it perfect? No. Is it great language for everyone? No, but I think that's beside the point. Every language has its ups and downs. There's not a single language that doesn't have something that's not great about it, right? Including Rust and everything else. So that's a constant that is never going to be different. There's no perfect language or anything like that. Yeah, Rust has its. I mean, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of syntax in Rust. It's very cryptic. I also honestly don't build. I'm not an embedded software engineer. I don't program, like, at least not full time. I'm not programming. I'm not programming CPUs, GPUs. I'm not writing CPU drivers or GPU drivers, right? So I'm sure that Rust is amazing. I hear good things about it for the people who are building certain things. So for its use case, I hear very good things about it. But again, for the things I use, Rust is not on list of top 100 languages, right? It would make no sense to build an API in Rust, at least not using their low-level libraries, because they're very, very, very verbose and very far from anything that. So I know that Rust has this web framework called I don't remember the name. I'll find it now. Yeah, Rocket. So if I would want to build, let's say, APIs, I would probably try this. But I tried building a base API in Rust just without using this, and it was almost like trying to do the same in PHP, right? It was not as bad per se, but you know, Yeah, for sure. But that's exactly the beautiful part about it, right? Indeed, I agree with you. It's really about the use case as always, right? And I think that is fair. Every language has its application, and that's fine, right? I mean, programming languages are meaningless if you're not building anything, right? The biggest, when I streamed regularly on this platform, a lot of people come with a lot of suggestions, but then I ask them, well, I mean, but what did you build in that language? And then many people don't have anything to show for. So, like at the end of the day, it's people who build things that really, I wouldn't say matter, but people who build things are typically people that I can get impressed by. Just because somebody can use language and talk about things because they read the blogs or watched YouTube videos, like it tells very little about the person, right? Phil, my friend, good evening. Thank you very much for coming. Pope Noob, good evening. I mean, I think JV, I think you're very smart, and I've been reading your comments, and I think we pretty much are saying the same things. And as you said earlier, I think what you just wrote applies to everything in life, right? I would not call experience just a little, let's say, advantage. I think experience is what makes someone great or not. In most cases, what gives them the title. Experience is very, almost invaluable, right? But yeah, I'm with you. I have 2 of my dogs on my own, Phil. They're actually kids, but they're often not different than dogs. One is 3 months old, another one's 6. So I completely feel you, man. I completely feel you, bro. Sometimes the kids are like that as well. Please define normal. How does one avoid being banned in 2 seconds on the channel? I have no idea. Moshi, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Are you sure that you're... I have no idea what you're saying. What? Okay. I mean, I hope you really know what normal means. Just be a decent human being. That's all. I think that is pretty clear. So don't insult people, be kind, and that's really it. I don't think, I mean, the fact that rules have to be written for adults is very depressing. If you don't know what it means to be normal and decent and kind, then yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. Shorty, yeah, man, I just, my wife went to sleep and my kids, so I just figured, okay, let's do it. It seemed quite broad. Okay, fair enough, man, fair enough. But I think you, the way that you responded, I think you kind of agree. That's all, really. Most productive, yeah, it is, exactly. Okay, this is done as well. Lock event signups. Organizers should be able to lock signups, meaning no more signups. Recurring events, calendar. Actually, no, this doesn't work, in fact, so let's fix that. This is, I'm actually more in a state of mind of chatting to you guys now while doing these tiny things. I hope some of you guys are fine with that. because yeah, it's pretty late. I have a slight headache, honestly, but I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm enjoying kind of doing these boring tiny things that yeah, they just have to be done. So I'll just I think there's a little either regression or something that never worked. We have this conditional another JSON validator schema here that I believe, yeah, exactly. So we can actually see here that, yeah, that kind of sucks. Okay. So let's kind of try fixing that. Let's just find this form somewhere. Yeah, so it's yes. Is this it? Yeah, okay. So I think when we take a look at this, so one of the very painful things about conditional JSON schemas is that, well, they're painful, and so I guess here, and then we have the schema over here, and then so let's see why this failed. Must match then schema. All right, so let's let me this use AJV form is the open source library I built for validation. So this project programmer network is using this library pretty much. Let's see what is happening. Ironically, actually, now it has kind of worked. Let's see why is it farting out events. No, okay, but that's not it. That's not what I want. So that's now a full, like, so we have the initial thing that failed. So on site, that is a little bit weird now. Wait, let's try that again. These types of kind of annoying bugs are very, very painful. Okay. So that is now correct, but there's something weird happening there. Let's try that again. Address. Must match then schema. Give me a second. Am I actually aliasing my library here? Let's go to vita config. Let's go to front end. Yeah, I am. So in theory, if I go to this library I wrote here, how do I don't know, I wrote this like literally a few years ago. How do I? Okay, I see. So let's get over here. Seems I've exposed this debug at one point in time. All right. So now when we get a bit of my built-in missing property location type. Oh, I see. What? Has any of you ever used React form, I wonder? I've been checking this library because this library that I wrote myself is awesome. But for a lot of these conditional states, it's very painful sometimes. Because we have, you know, we have event type here. Okay, but before I do anything crazy, location type, event type, meetup, location, event URL. So our like initial state is in fact correct. And then we get it here. Should the bounce and validate? Custom keywords has text. Okay, let's chat a little bit with the AI. I want to kind of do a little bit of exploration here. So for our and let's chat. Let's not write any code with AI. Let's just explore how would this conditional form data look like using React form library. Okay, let's see, because I'm very, very interested into this now. XCQ, positive to you as well, man. Thanks for coming, dude. Never mind. All good. I mean, honestly, yeah. So, yes, create a plan and let's see how you suggest to make the conditional fields work, because that is the only pain I have with my own use AJV form library. Doing conditional AJV schemas is often very difficult. I'm actually very genuinely interested into the outcome of this. Okay, this is the interesting part. Okay, let's read this. Conditional validation, much cleaner. Refine. Wow, that is shit, man. That is very nice. That is very, very nice, man. Wow. That is really nice. I mean, if this works, it's significantly better, I must admit. All right, let's install this and give it a shot. All right, let's give it a shot and let's see what happens. That would be awesome if it works. But let me not give it a let's see. Have you had any success? Alex, JavaScript. I mean, yeah. Have you had any success building automated end-to-end smoke tests with AI automatically? No, not really, honestly. Soon in this very stream, we're gonna be actually trying some end-to-end tests, because this project that I'm obviously building on my own is very complex, and more and more over time, I wish I had pure end-to-end tests, like not unit tests, integration tests, because when you and of course I'm not suggesting end-to-end tests are time-wise expensive, but I want to add them to critical parts of the system. So many times past few years, as I was streaming on and off, and when I released this programming network to production, several times, my authentication has been broken due to the stream and stuff, and that's unacceptable. So I'm not suggesting create end-to-end tests for some dummy stupid things like does this button has a click handler, but there's just certain parts of the system that I always need to work, like are emails being sent, can people sign up, etc. So maybe there are 3 or 4 different flows that must absolutely work, right? Like sign up flow, logging in, etc., right? So for these types of things, proper end-to-end tests are very valuable. Exactly. And actually, Phil, that is absolutely amazing, because Playwright is also what I want to have a stream on. So if Phil, I don't know if you have signed up for Programmer Network, man, but if you haven't, and if you want, please do, and also just join this meetup here, actually, because that's where I'm also gonna have my schedule. Because what I finished today now, whenever I create a new event, like when I schedule a new meetup, you will get an email if you're part of the meetup, right? So if you just want to know and want to be around when we do it, keep an eye, because Playwright is also what I want us to set up for this project. Again, just on a couple of flows. Man, I'm actually so happy to be trying this right now. If this works, I will be incredibly happy. I would be incredibly happy. Because the library that I wrote is amazing and it works really well with my Fastify. That's why I built it. But for these super complex conditional schemas, it was becoming more and more painful, where to a degree I wouldn't even fix a bug that form has, simply because it was painful to do so. And then I would have to go maintain the library and stuff. So it would be super cool if this actually ends up working, which obviously I'm not sure if it will. But let's see now. Well, the form is rendering, so that is a positive for sure. Wow, actually did it really write the test for it as well. Yeah, dude, this thing is awesome. It's absolutely awesome, dude. Okay, let's now, of course, spend the time figuring out what has changed relative to what we had, etc. But shit, man, I've been bitten by something. I don't know if it's what the hell is there like a spider here or something? What the hell, dude? Guys, if I turn into a Spider-Man during the stream, it was good knowing you, just FYI. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, this is, man, I must say this is awesome. It really is. This gives me faith that this might be a library that we will actually use. Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you so much, Phil. You're one of the people I always kind of think of when it comes to my streams, because you were always super awesome, like, since you joined and helped with so many things. Thank you for that, man. All right, let's that's I don't know, I'm absolutely fascinated, I must admit, but let me not be fascinated yet, because let's go ahead and see if that works actually. So let's also, guys, let me ask you one thing, for those of you who are still here. Like, when you're in the dashboard, okay, so when you're going through the dashboard resources and you click on a dashboard resource, would you expect that resource to take you to the actual thing that's live, or into the CRUD mode, meaning edit? Because I have a feeling that if you're under the dashboard and you're like, you should always be getting into the mode to edit or create. Because right now I made it so, like, if I click on a course, it takes me to that course that I created. But I'm more and more, as I work with the dashboard, I'm kind of thinking, should this actually get me into this, so I edit the actual thing? Because I don't know, it's kind of... Blade, thank you very much for the follow, man, appreciate it. Because if I click, it takes me to that resource, and I would kind of expect it. You can make it, yeah, but yeah, it's just it's kind of giving too much to the user. I would think that maybe instead of this, we just add another preview icon or an eye. You would expect to edit. I agree. Agreed, man. I agree. Thank you very much. Because, and I allowed myself for a long time to get irritated, because I keep clicking on it, then I keep going back, and then I keep clicking edit. So you can see that my expectation as well constantly is, if I click it, I'm gonna edit it. So every time I click it and I'm like, shit, that's not what I wanted, and then I go back and edit, right? Ah, crap. So you think the opposite now. Okay, so you can see now we have a user that thinks the opposite, right? Yeah, I've added these buttons. That maybe they're also not super visible. It's just if you do it quickly, right? Yeah, okay, screw it for now. Let's, yeah, I mean, or, yeah, exactly, some A/B test or whatever. But okay, let me figure this out. I think this might end up being wrong. Let's see. This event title object, what? What? It is consistent everywhere, yes. So that I made sure, because all of these dashboards, I made a generic system for all of this. So I kind of ensured that they all, so if you go to articles, it works the same. As you can see, if you go to courses, it works the same. So it's always systematic, so it's not inconsistent, right? So because I made a system that's reused for every single dashboard, so it's the same logic. It's just because I did have it ironically before, like when you click, it takes you into the edit mode, and then for some reason I made it go to the actual resource. So it seems that there isn't really a correct path, as JB said. It really is based on a user, right? I mean, yeah, it seems to be, yeah. MSA, thank you very much, man, for your follow. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's see now what the hell is happening. So let's tell the AI when I try to type in a title, we get an object. Okay, so let's kind of now test this, just so we can kind of see if this kind of library does what we actually want. What? Ah, never mind, sorry. Oh, I see, of course, man. Yes, yep. Okay, man, it read literally my types from the Yale library that I wrote. Yep, that is correct. Yeah, but my select doesn't have a blur, man. My select doesn't have on blur. Should we implement it? Okay, let me open up this open source library I wrote, the Yale. So the whole UI library for programming network is kind of something I wrote. So we're not using any like third-party crap. So let's just run the storybook in that project, and let's kind of try to. Oh, that's so amazing. Okay. Okay, let's now see if the conditional validation works. On site remote. Wow, 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 wow. All right. And then I think let's now, while we're here, resolve some other inconsistencies. Let me just write that down, right? So if we open this super cool tool called Notepad, we're gonna kind of do it like this. So, well, first and foremost, if the event type is live stream, right, then location type shouldn't even be shown in the address, right? I guess so, right? So let's say, let's just write this. So if event type is live stream, location type and address should not be mandatory, and also inputs should not even be visible. Okay. Okay. That is a beautiful and cool story, but all right, so that is great. Let me actually go over here. Let's go to per Louis GUI. Let's pm test. Okay, all tests are passing there, so that's awesome. We need to deploy that, even though if it's a very tiny change, we need to deploy that now. So we've kind of extended this. We've kind of updated the type. All right. I think for the Yale, I think I have pretty solid CI there that essentially is gonna auto release. I have release please. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we don't actually need to push anything else. I don't need to do tag based pushes as I had to do before. So I'm just gonna commit this literally to master, because I mean I can. It's all my own code. So, and now the Husky hooks are running. Yeah, let's run that. Oh shit, okay. Maybe I need to pm format here. Let's close this bad boy here. Okay, cool. Let's allow this guy to work in parallel with us, the robot, so we're more effective. Fail tests 1, okay, screw that. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Change log, what? Okay. Git commit added on blur to select input. And we should also create some enums for some of these values, like remote. Yeah, we need to kind of be a bit better in, at least for this feature, kind of with these things. Okay, we'll see about that in a second. Let's see if this is gonna be built. All tests are passing, great. Let's see if this guy actually builds itself. Did you get the physics? JB, what do you mean? I'm sorry if I'm not. Yes, yeah. You mean this one? Okay, so we have our CI running now. We have release please, and we have the CI just running the same stuff that more or less we did with our pre-commit hook. So we're gonna have linting testing and type checking here. I expect that to pass because our Husky has passed as well, as we can see above here, so that I expect to be fine. And then no, actually I'm gonna skip this. It's all fine now. No, why are you doing that, bro? It's okay. No, it's okay, bro. You're good, man. You are good, bro. You are amazing. You did well. Don't revert anything. It's fine. Okay. So now we can see, hopefully, that if I say live stream, some of the inputs are hidden. Yeah, but that's kinda wrong. I believe you've also hidden the URL field when event type is a live stream, and that is wrong. User needs to provide a link to the live stream. Okay, let me open it up. Oh, no, I didn't get, but I don't think that I've used that many credits. I mean, I am using it now in the stream, maybe more than I used to, but no, that's pretty, I didn't know this existed. No, I had no idea that exists. Actually, what? Oh crap, man, my bad. Okay, ouch. Okay, let me see. Keep all. Okay. But the tests, man, I love the tests for this. It's so fascinating, so useful. Okay, let's see now. Location, live stream URL. So let's say it's a live stream. It has blah blah blah. Yeah, update, edit. No, that's editing the actual meetup. Nah, I'm very happy with this, man. This is very, very nice. Okay, on Blur, blah blah blah. Yeah. So let me kind of do something else. Change log. Git pull. Black screen? No, I don't think so, Max. I think sometimes Twitch fails for people. I think you need to either flush your DNS, as somebody was suggesting, or you can try watching on YouTube. I think you're the only one having that issue right now, at least based on what I've heard. Of course, man, my pleasure. I need to prefix the commit with feet because that's what triggers release please to bump a new version of our Yale library, so we can then publish it to npm and then use it in our front-end project. JV, thank you very much, man. I'm very happy that you followed. You seem pretty awesome guy. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Okay, let's push this. Hopefully now it's gonna trigger the thing. Okay, so let's go back here. I mean, this was kind of a little bit of a waste of time because I completely forgot. Oh shit, this is the wrong project. Sorry. Programmer network programmer. Yale here, yeah. Actions. Yeah, okay. Okay, now it opened the actual like release Yale, and that is fine. There's really nothing to analyze here. This is essentially just a README file that we push to trigger this. Now this should push. This should do this. I mean, technically here, no, I mean, this is a programmer network platform, so, but no. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, every engineer should know some, or at least the experienced engineer must know at least CCNA level of network engineering, right? So you need to at least know basics of TCP and UDP and you know, subnets and subnet masks and IPs and stuff like that. That is the basics, I would say, right? You don't need to go on a CCNP level or CCNE or something like that. I mean, it's not. I mean, the thing is, a lot of the knowledge you gather basically just helps you. I mean, it's not even about jobs or is it gonna increase. It's not about that. It's just knowing how things work simply give you confidence to understand things, right? And then you can make better decisions and understand things, right? And then also you appear smart to others, and you also get all the girls in the parties, right? If you just go to a party and explain what a TCP is to all the girls, they're all just gonna like, oh my god, that's so hot. Like, you know what TCP is? I always wanted to know. And you know, like, can you tell me about UDP? Oh, tell me about the UDP. Yes. Oh yeah, UDP. That is so hot, man. Ooh, UDP. You know, it happened to me all the time. That's how I got married. I met my wife. I spoke to TCP, then UDP, and then she was just blown away. Absolutely blown away. Exactly. That's a joke, Phil. That's a joke, Phil. Exactly. But you know, that's how it is. That's how, you know, guys. We're all here. Obviously, like, I mean, look at us all. Just super hot, bunch of super hot dudes watching a random guy at midnight writing some code. I mean, we must be great at parties. Great at parties. The TCP was the only thing. The only thing. Definitely. But actually, jokes aside, man, like, jokes aside, my wife, for example, I've been with my wife, Diana, for 17 years. I mean, we started dating 17 years ago, maybe 10 years in marriage. And she literally knows zero about computers and she doesn't care. So, and I think that's why we've been so long together. I literally, like, never speak about work to her. Never. She has zero interest. I mean, it's not that she has zero interest. That would be a very shitty thing to say. But, you know, I've had friends in my life who would meet a girl, right? And like, oh man, this girl is the same like me. She also likes chemistry and physics. And I'm like, bro, you're gonna be with that girl for like 3 months. And that's it, right? So, yeah, JB. So when I worked at a boot camp many years ago, and that was one of the most fulfilling. So I worked at this was a remote, like I did this alongside my full-time job, and this was awesome, dude. I had around 160 students one-on-ones over this period, and it was one of the very fulfilling jobs I had, because man, like when somebody who was in a tough place sends you a message on LinkedIn like, man, Alex, you were my mentor, I don't know, like 10 years ago, and you changed my life and stuff. Dude, that's an awesome feeling to hear. It's quite fascinating. So so for sure, man, it's really, really cool. It's kind of, and you learn so much by teaching others. It's absolutely fascinating. It's a, yeah, thank you very much, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's like we often forget how much impact we have on other people. It's insane. And when I say so when I was at Thinkful, I was amongst maybe 25 technical experts amongst around 300 or 400 mentors. And when I got kind of invited to be as part of that group, people thought that I got there because, you know, I was a good programmer or I was good at technical things. But the reality of that actually was that I spent so much time talking to my students about non-technical things, and that was mostly why some of them succeeded. Because you know, sometimes like as you're teaching people, it's really fascinating how much sometimes they just need someone to talk to. And that was also like seeing how teaching is not decoupled from being human being, right? It's not like you press, hey man, teach me variable hoisting, I want to know about, you know, prototypal inheritance. I mean, sure, that also, right? But sometimes that doesn't do it. Sometimes people want to tell you, oh man, I broke up with my girlfriend, I feel like shit. I'm like, yeah man, I'm all ears, let's talk about it. And you know, sometimes it worked. It's quite crazy. Twitch is farting. Okay, maybe, yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. I have no idea why. And Chica, actually, I prefer that you watch it on YouTube because it counts towards these like watch hours or whatever. Then I can get to that point one day. I don't know, what is it called? Okay, let's... and Chica, good evening, buddy. Good to have you. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go meetups. Let's go here. Let's go here. I mean, let me show you what I mean. I mean, on YouTube, I have this thing called like... Where is it? Earn, right? And because I'm not a content creator, I upload one video a year. I really would like to kind of get this to 4,000. Yeah, exactly. So I would like to get this to 4,000. So maybe I'm just hoping maybe it would incentivize me to actually record small videos for... Oh, JV, thank you very much. Phil, good evening to you as well. So yeah, this is kind of what I want to happen, because maybe, I don't know, maybe then I'm gonna be like, yo, you know what, now I can actually kind of record more videos, try to make this YouTube thing a little bit better, and you know, you never know. I mean, my teaching or my knowledge sharing is I believe unique in some way, which is I only share things that I deal with at my work or that I've dealt with many years ago. So I typically talk about real things, not... JV, thank you so much, man. So I have some videos kind of suck views-wise. I have a couple of them that kind of were fine. Let me actually find it, but I don't... So this one has 10,000 views. This programming is hard has... how to become a great tech lead, team lead. So yeah, some of these videos kind of did fine, which I was like fine with. A few thousand views for me is fine. But then yeah, maybe I should put some effort more into that. Oh, thank you very much, JV. That's awesome, dude. Thanks a lot for that. That's great. That's super. Dude, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. Yeah, but thank you very much, man. That's very kind. It's just yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's fun just hanging out with you guys. So YouTube is hard, lots of effort putting out regular videos, and takes a long time to... I mean, to be very honest with you, like yeah. And by the way, all the VODs are under the live thing here. I don't think Phil, it's even about money per se. To be honest, I don't know. Actually, I wanted to say something smart, but then I realized it. So no, I don't know. I think it would just be cool to hit some milestone at least. So if I tell you what this milestone is, so I'm saying, oh, it would be nice to hit this 4,000. Why? I don't know. It would just be nice. You know, no matter, I mean, I do this for fun. I'm never gonna be like a content creator or whatever, but I still believe it would kind of incentivize me, right? Yeah, I mean, it's no matter how casual I am about all this, I would lie to say, oh, I'm not happy if people subscribe or follow or sign up on Programmer Network. So I would lie if I would say that. But also, on the other hand, I will rarely, I don't think in this reality today, I will have time to like release content like videos on YouTube, right? Yeah, exactly. So for example, when I record YouTube videos, and I have some, they typically come very natural, and I quickly sit in front of this very camera and I just talk about something. So it's very like, oh fuck, I actually want to talk about this. And this, I believe, is what I have another channel that's very old. Let me show you. Is it this one? And I remember when I was recording these videos like many years ago. Let me show you. I have some very old content like, wait, it was very awesome back then because you see, this is 10 years ago, some of the videos, but you could just do what I'm still doing. You could just record something that you like. You can see like 10 years ago I spoke about this JavaScript ES6 came out, Polymer.js, JavaScript got the class keyword, promises, destructuring, right? So this is kind of where I started back then. And I think this is like 13 years ago, configuring some networking. I mean, when I look at this quality, it's pretty like crazy. And this video had like 170,000 views. This is me just configuring some layer 7, like how do you block certain things. Yeah, where's the Qt? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This was also like this is when I wrote C++ using simple direct media layer. Yeah, I actually had this domain clab.com. I don't own it anymore, but I was running a little fan C++ website. It was called. This is actually my email. My old email is clab@outlook.com. But look at this. Yeah, man. Wow. This is like, feels like it was in a different lifetime almost. And then what is this? What else was there? Polymer.js. Yeah, this was an awesome attempt by Google to create a kind of component based. So I recorded a little like guide on how to write Polymer components. Yeah. Anyway, that was all nice, but yeah. Okay, guys, let's see actually what we've done here. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off rails back and forth. So let's yeah, that was, I believe, Windows 8 or Windows Vista. I don't remember. I don't think it was Vista because Vista barely worked. I believe it was Windows 8. Yeah. Yeah, man, I must admit, guys, I'm so happy. Jesus Christ, man. This is so bloody nice, man. My ego is a bit hurt because I thought that my library is the best, but it's not. Shit. Fucking ego, man. This is great, dude. This is so great. And this refine thing is great. And also I believe, so it's kind of, you could say, less declarative. So this is kind of you could say a little bit less declarative. So this is almost like perfect combination of sufficiently declarative and sufficiently imperative, right? And the imperative part is this one, which is you want it to be imperative, right? Like, you want to have a bit of this freedom instead of trying to smack in all the keywords that simply don't work. How long have you been working on Programmer Network for? I mean, I'm not actively working on Programmer Network per se, so it's hard to calculate that because the whole platform has been built inside of this stream, right? So technically, it's very hard to quantify because you can see, I mean, I stream and I sometimes spend 90% of my time chatting to you guys. Sometimes I spend all the time building it. But it's been some time. I mean, I think Programmer Network has around 2,500 people who already signed up. So we have a bunch of developers. I mean, all of these are real people, right? So they're not bots or anything like that. So how many of them are active? Well, that is questionable. And there's reasons why they're not active and why some are, but it's been live for some time. It's been live for some time, and you know, it takes a long time to build a secure platform. secure, fast, responsive, all of that, it's on your own. It's takes a long time. Oh man, I love this so much. Yes! This week I found a WinXP CD in a box. Dude, I still have that in my other apartment. I have like this set of huge discs. And dude, it's whenever I see that box, just my whole childhood and young age goes through my mind. I have so many Linux distros there, like Mandriva, Xubuntu, even something that doesn't exist anymore. I think right now it's called Kali Linux, but back then it was called Backtrack. I remember the days of Backtrack. I don't know if some of you guys remember this. Oh wow, does it still exist? No way, bro. No, it actually doesn't. So JV, everything is hosted on my Kubernetes cluster. Actually, not here, but the cluster you saw. With the exception of the front end is hosted on Cloudflare pages. Essentially, yeah, because the front end and back end are deployed separately. Yeah, exactly. Okay, just going through my memory lane. Okay, so let me get back to this. But anyway, this is very, very good. So good. So good. Thank you very much for the follow, guys. Appreciate it. So this is very good. I actually, I know that I said it already 600 times, but I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy with this. Let me just review it a bit more. I hate this typecasting. I don't know why is it necessary. Yeah, but why are you like... Oh, I see. Okay, so it's calling the lower... yeah, but don't freaking cast, bro. Like, I hate it when it does this. Even though, who cares, but... you know... Oh, this is a lambda implicit return. Okay. Also... Yeah, just write normal code, AI. Come on, bro. Don't be lazy. Cresty, thank you very much for the sub, man. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate that a lot. Mostly not because of even money. It's just appreciation. So thank you, man. That's pretty cool. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna quickly, I don't trust the obviously myself nor the AI, so we have instructions files. I do Phil, yeah. I do, unfortunately. That is, I mean, I have no critiques for the AI. Actually, I think we live in a miracle times where this technology is insane for us, especially if you can write code well, then you have a superpower. But the only kind of negative single thing I have to say is that often it neglects these files, right? I don't know why. Something to do with the context. Maybe, I don't know. But sometimes it just doesn't do it. And then I ask it literally, why did you do something I strictly tell you not to do in? And it's like, oh, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry for that. So I don't know how they implemented that or whatever, but and also these types of things, right? I mean, like, no, for sure, Phil. And I do. I mean, actually, I spend most of my time in the plan mode than the agent mode, right? So I agree with you that your input is directly, so the quality of your output is directly proportional to the quality of your input. No question about that. It's just sometimes their tooling just fails, right? And you know, I hate computing things. So my golden rule, and I think it's good for everybody to hear, is, and I know that hopefully most of you are doing that already, try to reduce computation or conditional rendering inside of your JSX, no matter what UI library you use, as much as you possibly can. So I think that HTML or JSX in this context by nature is ugly enough already, and whenever you can, try to keep it as clean as you possibly can, because this is also okay. So these are kind of tiny things, but you know, let's be very careful about these things. So I mean, there's tiny things that can be improved here. We could create some enums. Yeah, because AI is faster at writing obviously than me, let's just say here, let's ensure that, just so I don't type it out manually and waste time, let's go to localhost, that event type, give me 1 second. So what do we have, that the event type and location type are TS enums, and then we want to reuse those everywhere. I hadn't had any problems with missing the instruction, the response from AI, but I certainly want to write code without AI the most of the time. I respect that, man, and I think that is fair, and I understand why you're saying that. I think, and that is fine. I mean, there's many things that. So to be very frank with you, and I try to be honest all the time. I'm mostly an architect. I mean, I work as a tech lead at my work anyway. So the AI, to me right now and past 3 or 4 years, is almost no different than my team, because my job typically at work is to propose solutions, architecture and stuff like that, and AI almost perfectly aligns with that, because I almost do with my team what I do with AI, because I've built so many of these things before, this very crap, these very components, these very APIs. So for me to write these things manually literally would be absurd, because number one, there's nothing that I have to prove to myself anymore in this context. Like when I look at this, I wrote this same form probably 15 million times past 15 years, right? So for me, my reasoning is very simple. I simply can't physically write this much code, even like what AI wrote now, I would have probably written the same 90% of the time, maybe even 100% of the time. But physically, it would have just taken me to just update all these. So for example, I told it now to update hard-coded strings to TypeScript enum. That's an arbitrary task that clearly we know how to do. I mean, I have to replace remote with event type remote. So obviously, but the amount of time it would have taken me relative to this thing it would be just absurd. It just would be me consciously saying, yes, I consciously want to waste my own time, right? So this is, I mean, I know that all of us are a bit like, yeah, well, I want to be a programmer, I want to write code, but it's a hard one, man. It's a hard one because it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to type all of the things manually anymore, right? JV, I sign exactly. That's pretty much what I said as well, 100%. This is literally what my work at work is as well. And it's just awesome. It's just, I mean, I feel now when I type into this chat as if I'm talking in a workshop with my team, right? So I know, I mean, all of us have pride, and every day myself, or even in this stream, I'm sitting and thinking, oh man, you know, would the stream be more impressed if I just went and pressed my keys on the keyboard and stuff, right? But fundamentally, we all have to understand that this is new reality, and no matter how long we push back, and many of us will push back, this is not going to change the fact that this is new reality, and that this is like, let me give you just an example that I think is objective and factual, because it's historical, and you can read it in many books. When WebAssembly was the modern programming, and COBOL came out, Pascal, and many other abstractions, these assembly guys were saying, oh my god, these dumb Pascal developers, right? Look at them just writing this high-level code. Then Java came, C++ came, etc. And then these were the dumb guys. Then, you know, JavaScript came out, and C#, and these. So as you can see, historically, humanity has been moving away from low-level stuff like it was a plague. I don't think this has much to do with AI per se. AI is just a consequence of some other things. But I think it was inevitable over time that programming was moving more and more abstract and high level, simply because businesses needed that, right? I mean, I think for me, JavaScript and Golang are two most beautiful languages. Like syntactically, and the capabilities they evolve, right, or provide. Now, the problem with JavaScript has nothing to do with the language. When people shit on JavaScript, so one fundamental thing that most people don't know is that when they actually shit on JavaScript, they're not shitting on JavaScript. They're shitting on all of the other things in the browsers and all over the place, because it's very, very complex. You have different browsers, different runtimes, different resolutions, accessibility, and all of the other things. JavaScript, like for example, DOM, document object model, thing that we use to interface with the DOM tree and build web pages, is not a part of JavaScript language. That's part of the browser. So in order to not shit on JavaScript, you first need to yeah, for sure, definitely, I don't doubt that at all. But I mostly mean, like, people who do ditch JavaScript most actually don't understand it, and they mostly suck at it, and also don't understand the difference what a JS language is, an ECMAScript spec, and the parts that are in the browsers, right? And typically things that are in the browsers are the problem, not the language per se, right? Yeah, number of max saving, exactly. But yeah, it's what it is, right? Okay, this is very nice. All right, I mean, to be very frank with you, this is all. I don't know. I'm very happy with this. I know I said 5 million times, but this is gonna be an awesome thing for this project, because yeah, I've been struggling a bit with my own library, and this is gonna be a new thing. This is gonna be a good thing, I think. What is this? Oh, there's a move towards abstraction. Oh, thank you, man. That's cool. Thanks. Some people making clips. I don't even know how to make a clip, to be honest. Literally, never did that before. Yeah, I don't even know how to do that, man. Oh man, why are you casting? Jesus Christ, dude. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, man, why are you doing that, dude? Like... The barrier between natural language and programming language is just the excess of ambiguity in natural language. But programming requires an ambiguity. AI mostly closing the gap between them. Deeper level, what people generally want to do is build a product. Programming was just... JB, amen. I mean, dude, yeah, nothing to add. Absolutely agreed. And again, like I think the most... Shorty, thank you very much, man. I'm also gonna round up soon. I think when I really grew in my career, when I truly grew as an engineer, and that's very ironic, was when I realized things that has nothing to do with engineering, right? So typical path of a programmer, of a basement dweller, as I call one, is just focusing on frameworks and libraries and languages. You know, these types of streams like this Primagen guy has and stuff. This is fast, this is slow, this is right. But as you know, I've been working in startups for almost 20 years now, and since very early, since I was 18 almost, now I'm 37. And I never worked anywhere else except a startup, by the way. And some of them were my own. I had my own company, and most except with others. And once you build actual product with actual people, with actual deadlines, with actual lack of money, and with actual etc., you realize one plain thing, that programming exists for the sake of business and not the other way around. So as JB has said, ultimately it's a liability, not an asset or something useful, that exists for the sake of building products, aka making money, aka paying salaries, right? And then once you realize that your goal is to build value, provide value, and with that said, be balanced with code quality and other things, that's where you truly grow. And then you start questioning stupid statements that people say. Like, people would come to this stream when I was actively streaming and say, nodejs is slow, or PHP is this. It's like, and then you hear these arguments, you know that these people who are saying this have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. And then I just asked a basic question. I mean, what have you ever built in any of these languages? And have you ever actually had or experienced any of these things being slow or fast or whatever? And of course, again, the answer is no, right? So in simple words, majority of people who come with these stupid, idiotic comments, they actually are just parroting either their content creators or, you know, it's an echo chamber of sweaty basement dwellers, as I call them, mostly who can't actually code, have never built anything, but have all of these very hard, like, so for example, you will hear most people say, haha, PHP sucks. But very rarely anyone, for instance, is gonna say, why, bro? That, like, can you like elaborate? Can you, right? Primajan, no, not really. But I have seen a couple of clips before where the audience essentially that watches that type of content is typically like this, right? Is he a basement dweller? I have no idea, and that's beside the point. But it's just all of the echo chamber stuff that, and also that's true. He's a content creator, yeah. But either way, you grow the most when you understand where your focus should be, right? Seems like if you were to talk poorly of someone, I have no idea what you're talking about, man. I think you're inventing things. Who has spoken poorly of anyone, dude? Like, are you 11 years old or what? That makes absolutely no sense. I don't complain about things. I work with agentic that is built and program myself as well. Writing stuff and I have built software that I don't really understand. I mean, it's pointless to complain, right? I mean, this is kind of what the whole internet does, right? It basically does that, right? You have a bunch of wannabe programmers who essentially shit on things, and this is the content that actually sells. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So the content that fundamentally sells, it's a contradicting, conflicting content, or the content where you create these echo chambers of people who parrot the same thing, right? But when you ask rational questions, because that's what engineers used to be, people who had reasoning, critical thinking skills, right? I have to ask you if you're 11 years old, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Nobody mentioned Primogen at all. Like I have no idea what you're talking about, man. But that's beside the point. Either way, yeah, focusing on the value and the things that matter, that's really all that matters. PJ, I'm talking to the guy above you who is complaining. Huh, interesting. No worries. So I suppose, right, we'll do this. Yeah. Yeah. Then I guess we can nuke this. We can nuke this. Maybe nuke this as well. Yeah, man, so you could say that the only downside of this here, right, is that, yeah, I mean, maybe the only thing I dislike, I mean, I don't really dislike it, but oh man, that really sucks. I have no idea, man, why. Maybe try YouTube. That's what I kind of send to others. You are actually the third person today that says that. The third person. Set initial content for type of editor. Yeah, shit. This was a lot of change. Let's see what happened. All right, let's test it again. It's a regional networking issue. I don't know, man. It's quite frustrating. Yeah, man, water is the best. I mean, I have it, you noticed. It's always on my table. That's pretty much the only thing I drink. Hackathon, location type. Okay, I mean, that is good. I think that we can almost deploy this. Yes, sure. This is also improved, yeah. Yeah, man, this is awesome. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yep. Actually, let me just do one kinda. All right. And where is this? Is this in the API? Yeah. Apple TV's new show. Okay, let me Google that. Phil, give me 1 second. Apple TV. What is this? What is it about? How do I like? Where do I check that? Ah, ooh, 9 out of 10. What? Nine out of 10, bro. That is insane. Is it really that good? Wow. Wait, everybody's happy and she has to save them? Of forced happiness. Ah, I see. Fuck, okay, I must watch an episode after this stream. Okay, cool. Yeah, that is most likely the best. Yeah, actually, that's a good one. That's a good one. She feels quite exactly quite pissed in that picture. All right, this is awesome, guys. This is very good. I'm quite happy with this. Let's deploy this. Man, Severance was amazing, dude. I really enjoyed that show. Also, my colleagues from work have watched it as well. That was pretty awesome, dude. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, definitely. Rune, thank you very much, man. That's awesome. Thank you for the follow, dude. PM format. PM test. Okay. Okay. What is it? The history of Python. Yeah, I'm aware of this movie. I haven't watched it. There's one about Node.js as well, which I did watch. But yeah, there's also another, I believe, about Vue.js by Ivan Yu, the creator of that. Okay, nice, guys. That's good. Okay. Oh, shit, what? All right, we have an actual typo somewhere. Oh, I see. What? Get event location by location type. Okay. Yeah, but that makes no sense. Why is it? Yeah, that. Give me 1 second. Event type, yeah, location type, remote, on-site, hybrid. Okay, that was actually, I mean, actually TypeScript kind of saved us here a bit. That's crazy. Okay, is that the only error we had? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Okay. What's the JS one called? I believe it's called like I don't know, like Node.js documentary YouTube. I don't remember. Yeah, here, this one. Very, very good one. Very good one. And then there's also the Vue.js one. So if you go to this cult repo, you can see there's the Vita one by Ivan Yu. But if you go here and you search for Vue, I believe. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. All right, let's deploy that. Okay, core Phil, I don't know if I can then watch it tonight. It's 1:20 a.m. here, 20 past 1 a.m. here. So probably not. I might watch it with my wife tomorrow then, most likely. But I think we're gonna round up as well, fellas. It's so late here. It's so late here. It's like so you can see, actually you don't see, but it's 20 past 1 in the morning. So we'll need to, but a lot of awesome new people. Thank you guys. That was so nice. Thank you very much. It was awesome to get some 420 there. Yeah. That is correct answer. Yeah. Yep. All right, guys. Let's meet tomorrow if you guys are around. Yeah, I've been up. If you guys again want to get notified of the stream and get an email, you know, just go and join that meetup there. It is not really a shameless promotion at all, because technically this stream is about building this platform, and if you're gonna watch it, then it doesn't make sense that you don't sign up. So, but that's the feature we built together, the link that I shared to you. So actually the notification you're gonna get when I create a new event off of that meetup is the thing we've done in this stream very much. So I think that also makes it pretty cool. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. It was awesome. JV, I gotta go. It's very late here, but so nice to meet some new awesome people. And thank you very much for all the feedback and stuff. That was pretty cool. Likewise, man. Very nice to meet you. Very, very happy to have you. I think I'm gonna have some time to stream tomorrow, so let's see when. But yeah, until then, you guys have a great time. Good night, good day, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys another time. Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye. Good night.